What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Den Cave, and we've got an awesome video for you today. I got to join our fellow streamer ItsGuestGaming over on Twitch, and we got to interview the devs of Mirrorverse. Now, it was awesome. These guys really wanting to take the time to interact with us and you guys as a community as they answered questions and different things like that around the Mirrorverse, you know, how the game came about, what do we have to look forward to in the future of the Mirrorverse. And it was just a ton of fun. So again, I want to give a big shout out to the devs, Lyra, the community manager, really making this happen. And again, big shout out to guests from ItsGuestGaming. Make sure to show him some love over on his YouTube channel and his Twitch. And I can't wait for more streams like this because yes, this is only part one. We've got part two coming up live on Monday. So if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description below for the Twitch. And Monday night, we'll be doing that same type of interview with the community managers, Lyra and Pinwheel, talking all things Mirrorverse. So make sure you check out the Discord where I'm going to have more details on time and all of that good stuff. But with that being said, guys, let's jump into it.
I think we're ready, good sir. I think we're
Let's
ready.
go.
So let's go base on even here. We're going to unlock a couple of Guardians, people. We're going to open a couple of Guardians here. For the dear love of Lord, let everything be nice and smooth as we say hello to some new friends. We're going to unmute those who are joining us. We got part one, part two, part three. It looks like I think we have everybody here live now. Yes!
There we go. I'm a little sad. Guess where's my crystal? I can flick into the portal and tap it a little bit.
15 hours, man. 15 hours of working on this. You get a crystal next week. You can unlock Lyra after you get me a 5-star Zerg, okay? You know what? Baby steps. I'm okay with it. Welcome, everyone say hello to the devs of Disney Mirrorverse over at Kabam Games. We're going to say hello one by one, let you guys introduce yourselves because many people know names, and some of you may have, we may have recently just seen yesterday for the very first time. So let's pop on around. I have the one, the only, the legendary, the Lyra. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having us today. If you guys don't know, I am known as Kabam Lyra. I'm your senior community manager working on Disney Mirrorverse.
Thank you, darling. Thank you so much for coming on in and joining us. Thank you for saying yes to this opportunity. We said it in the very beginning of the stream. Default Dan and I are so thrilled and honored that you all are taking time out of your day to discuss Disney Mirrorverse with us. So Lyra, we've been talking for a little while now, and this is for me and Default. This is our first hello to two brand new friends as well with Mark and Nick. So Lyra, I've known you a little bit. Thank you so much. Let's hop down the line here. I think next I have the names labeled backwards, but let's see, what does this do? This one does Mark. Mark, say hello, good sir, and introduce. How you doing?
Yeah. Nice to see you all. My name is Mark. I'm the executive producer for Mirrorverse, and super excited to join you guys and talk about this game, which we've all been playing for quite a long time, and the rest of the world is just
I'm gonna poke this question. How long have you specifically been playing the game as the EP? Like, how long have you been playing it? I'm throwing this. It's a sidebar question. I gotta ask since you said that.
Okay, let's get right into it. The first time I played Mirrorverse was May of 2018, and it was little yellow and purple cubes fighting each other on a gray checkerboard grid.
I know all about that. So my background, just a little bit. I used to build indie games, doing game jams where you have 48 hours to build games from scratch. And when we would compete against people, that was how you did it. You just said, as long as I have little dots on the screen doing it, I can put art on top of it. You got to make the dots do what they need to do. And a lot of people focus on all the other stuff, but yeah, the little cubes, that's all you need. That's all you need.
So Mark, thank you so much for joining us and taking time out of your day as well to come talk this game with us. You've got a friend down below. I can't see. What is on your hat, man? What is on your hat?
This is my Quebec Nordiques hat.
Ah, okay. Introduce yourself,
You
Nick.
gotta
How you
love a
doing?
team that doesn't exist anymore.
I'm sorry. Continue on. Let me put this here so I
Okay,
don't
hi,
get you
I'm
confused.
Nick. I was the senior art director on Disney Mirrorverse. I'm so stoked to be here. Thanks so much for having us.
So you're responsible for the purple cubes. Thank you. Thank you for coming on in, Nick. Okay, well, we'll pass that off to somebody else. You're part of the evolution from the purple cubes then. So welcome on in, Nick. Thank you guys so much for taking this moment to kind of dive into Disney Mirrorverse in a different way. You know, we got to see some of y'all in the launch event video, and it was honestly, I mean, it was beautifully done. You talked a little bit about how just the idea of Disney Mirrorverse kind of like came to be. But for those who haven't seen the video, or if you want to kind of dive into maybe something that wasn't exclusive within there, how did Disney Mirrorverse kind of just conceptualize? How did you guys say, this is what we want to build, this is what we want to grow, and we want to work with Disney and do this idea? Like, how did this process start? Who wants to take that?
Okay, let's tag team this, Nick. I'll start. You know, Kabam's had a long history working with Disney, specifically with Marvel, from way back, doing Contest of Champions. From that grew the idea we wanted to do more things. And when we started thinking about what would make a really interesting Disney action game, because that's what Kabam does, that's our studio's bread and butter, we started thinking, what are some ways we could make Disney action work, given what we know and love about all these characters? And we started to think, well, they'd have to be different. How do you make them different? How do you get to a place where they still are true to the characters that you know in the films, but they feel like they belong in a universe that's sort of high stakes, high energy, high conflict, and that makes sense for an action game. That's kind of where I took it to, with the purple cubes and all the awesome people that built that. But we knew we needed to actually turn it into something that looked incredible, and that's where Nick and his crew sort of take the baton.
I think for me, like I've been a lifelong Disney fan, and like since a kid to my current very immature adult, like I love Disney, and sort of when we were thinking about these characters that were like, to be honest to say, an important part of my life, and having made video games for 20 years, I always was like, wouldn't it be cool if you took this character and put them in this situation, and then they could be like this, and then from there you just get really excited and really passionate, and you very much want to do it in a way that is authentic and feels like the character you know and love, and then at the same time you want to put them in sort of these amazing situations where they can really show more of what they can do.
Yeah, I'll jump in a little bit more. Like, just to be clear, this isn't only Kabam coming up with these ideas, right? Like, we work hand in hand with our partners at Disney to make sure it's right. Because we did a lot of testing of this game. We did concept art tests even way back, a long time ago. And what we found out really early on is if you did something that maybe it looked cool but wasn't true to the character, like fans knew right away. They're like, that's not going to work. There's got to be a kernel of who they are in every single one of these evolutions and designs of the character. And Nick and his team worked hand in hand with our partners at Disney right up to the franchise heads to make sure that even though they look different and have different attributes, that the core of who these characters are rings true.
Yeah, there's so many little details you guys have put in there that I just like. When I first opened the game, and I know Default Dad did the same thing as well, we just studied the characters and just went
all the details.
Yeah.
That's
Go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
So crazy. Just I mean, it's all the details, just like you're saying. I mean, like looking at Oogie Boogie and his weapon being the dice, and just the roulette board is the shield, and Baloo and the plane parts from Tailspin, like just all those little things. It's just so crazy on detail. And I know I've got a question a little bit later around the art and stuff, but I will kind of get into this one for you guys. So like essentially this game looks beautiful and it looks so polished. I know you guys have been working on it for a long time, right up to launch. This has been essentially 18 months plus in beta, and it's one of the longest beta processes I know about a game. I know there's other games that may have taken a long time, but I'm curious on that journey, what's kind of that most valuable element that the game's gameplay, you know, that's changed and evolved the most? Because I know what we're looking at today was not what you started with, those purple dots and blocks moving out on the screen. But what's one of those elements that you kind of started with, but has really evolved into what we have today that you're really proud of?
I think the most striking one is when we changed the combat so that it was much more character controlled and action focused. Like one thing that we learned on our journey is people love these characters. They love the concept of the story. They want to be more hands-on. They want to I want to play with and feel like I'm moment to moment having control of these characters. So when we made it was a big deal when we made that switch to, and honestly something that's more of a Kabam style game. When we made that switch to that moment to moment action, controlling a single character, then bringing in your team and being able to swap in and out, it felt right, and we knew it felt right. We hoped the audience felt the same way, and instantly the next day, once it went out, we could tell the reaction and that it was going to work. And suddenly everything started to click. The world that had been built, and the characters we put in them, and then the way we as players could interact them felt like it was working. So for me, that's my biggest one. Nick, I don't know if do you have one?
It would be the same. Like when we made that switch to the gameplay, and then when you had all of a sudden this like amazing agency where you could really control on a very visceral level your characters, like that. Yeah, that was a huge moment for me, and I think for our whole team, and that where it was like, oh, now this is a really powerful experience, and really into it. And yeah, like just when I play the game, I like to take away the art director hat and then just enjoy it. And at that point, it's like, okay, I'm obsessed with it. I'm collecting all the characters. I want to try them all out.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see all of your actual your player rosters now that you've just been playing at the same time as working on it. And like you said, you take the hat off, you put the hat on of, okay, right now I'm at work. And later on, you know what, it is a decompressor still, even though I'm trying to turn that head out. Like I have restaurant background from a management side, and it's sometimes still very hard for me to just take that hat off where you're watching a situation, you go, I see, I know what's happening right now. No, sorry, go on, honey. And you try to disconnect, and it's tough sometimes. But I with the progression of how you guys kind of went through that decision process, just like a sidebar question, was it always decided that you wanted this game to work as a live action RPG? Or was there other conceptual ideas with how you could have turned the Mirrorverse story into a different kind of collector battle, live 3v3 format? What was the initial goal, and was it still this?
It was always going to be a team game. We knew that. We wanted to have to give the players the choice of putting different characters together, combining attributes, and building their own teams. How the combat played out had gone through a bit of a journey. There was a more idle style version that we tried, and again, it was okay, but it felt like there was more to get out of it. So yeah, we're happy where it landed. I still think there's lots of other ways you could play games in the Mirrorverse. Right now, we want to land this one and make it the best possible version of it that it can be. So,
yeah.
Awesome. Anybody else have any other thoughts there? All right, so kind of like going off that, and again, we love the way the game plays and feels and everything, and honestly, one of the things that drew me to the game was the character designs. I remember probably at least a year ago, I was in the store and I saw the Mirrorverse figures, and I was like, oh man, these are really cool. Where's this game? Where can I find it? And I know a lot of people are kind of stumbling onto it. I've got practically all of them behind me over on the shelf. We've got them all. We've picked them all up.
Legit, he does. Yeah.
We do the unboxings on stream and everything, and it's awesome. Just how you guys have really gone through, and you mentioned this before, all those details that you go into, from as simple as like Oogie that we talked about, to just even like Rapunzel looking in the frying pan and seeing the sun inside of it, and all of the different pieces. But the question I have for you guys is like, how do you go in there? How do you identify those things and kind of understand, okay, this is going to be a melee guardian, this is how I'm going to do their design, this is some details I want to add? Like, how does that process look when you're designing these new characters into the game?
Oh yeah, so I'll speak to that one. For me, it's so fun. So I think, as Mark was saying earlier, we have these really great partnership with the team at Disney. Like, they didn't feel like an external team to us. They felt like part of our team, and we work together so much. They're kind of part of our second family. Yeah, or maybe I spend more time with them than I do my family. That's cool. But we start off with like the writing first. Well, no, before the writing, we actually like do a deep dive. We do like, we live with the characters. We consume like all the media, make sure we research, make sure we understand all the stories. We really want to make sure that Disney knew that we cared about these characters as much as they did. And from there on, we have Ryan Boulante, who's and a group of writers who get incredibly familiar with the character, and we start sort of brainstorming, start jamming on concepts, really understanding who the character is, like so much that they're very real to us. We understand kind of the decisions that they would make, how they would think, what would be the right thing in their trajectory. So first comes the written concept, and we align with Disney and their team of writers on that. And then we move on to sort of the visual ideation, where usually we have we go to our concept artists, and they all have their favorites, and they kind of like, I won't say they fight, but they organize amongst themselves with us who gets who. And then we build out these mood boards where we start looking at the visual history of the character. We start looking at all the sort of visual elements that compose the character, the important symbolism that's important to their narrative. We try to figure out, really get into their heads and figure out their likes and dislikes of what is right for the character, and what would create that sort of flesh rejection of like, no, that's not right. And as Mark's saying earlier, like some things look really cool, but you're like, no, that's not right. So finding, we take the time to explore what's right. We start doing roughs. We go through a pretty extensive early ideation period where we're doing lots of doodles, figuring things out. We're trying to figure out which of these sing true. We do that in conjunction with Disney. We have our partnership team at Disney, and then depending on what franchise the character is from, it then goes to the franchise holder, and there's a really good back and forth dialogue until we arrive at sort of, this feels right for this character, this is right for this character. And then beyond that, it's what is right for the character, and then is that right for the Mirrorverse version of that character? And that's sort of how we build it all together, and have sort of all the razors of, is it right, is it wrong, is it exciting, is it surprising, is this a character we want to play with and that will do well and be successful in the Mirrorverse?
I'm gonna so
go ahead.
Sorry. No, you got it. You got it.
All right, my stream. So I guess if your team is primarily responsible for that, only because her icon is Maleficent, does that mean that Lyra's responsible for all of the fractured?
I'll go ahead and take credit, even though I am not. I wish. Yeah.
No.
I want to see you on that team. No, but I mean, even just the fractured conceptions are awesome. The fractured conceptions and how it's a variation of the Mirrorverse. So it's like Inception. You have the character, then you have the Mirrorverse character, then you have the fractured character, and then God knows what happens next after that. It's just
no, it's
bizarre.
definitely, like, to Guest's point, it's so cool how you guys didn't just say, all right, let me take this character, let me make them purple, right, and give them white eyes and they're fractured. Like, if you look at a lot of it, like Rapunzel, she has short hair, right? There's all these like different little nuances with these characters that you guys are doing, and some of them maybe a little bit slightly harder to see if you look at like Sully or something like that. But you can look, if you really do look at the characters and study them, there's all those little details you guys kind of put in within those.
I'm gonna put up like one of the ones that I absolutely love because it's so tiny and so simple but so brilliant. It's on Baymax. I love his little go-go sticker. You know, it's just like something I never would have imagined saying, hey, this is how we can, you know, plus a character even further. And then you do look at, I mean, come on, like just really, just too damn smart. I'm sorry, I gotta say, it's just too damn smart. But I digress. You know, because as a Disney nerd, I could definitely fanboy off of it a little bit. As I think it's safe to say all of us are super huge Disney nerds, and that's completely okay, as we all well should be. I guess it kind of speaks into the same question as that, but I'm curious when it comes to like how you make the animations as well, because the art is beautiful, but it couples so well with how, you know, like how Rapunzel uses that frying pan. You know, it's more than just, wow, that's a pretty picture. It's, wow, that's a pretty movie. You know, is there a similar synergy when it comes to how you build a character with their abilities and their talents with that lore? Because we heard some of the character history that way. I'm curious whether, from a conception side as well as an execution, how that works out.
Oh, cool. Oh, there absolutely is. Like, our RPG team puts together a really cool kit. They really research the characters and see like, what are the best things that we feel this character can do, and then from there it kind of goes over to our animation team, and we have a wonderful animation director, Derek, and our lead animator, Louis, and they start, and it's awesome, by starting to act things out. So I wish I could do like a supercut of like them acting out all the moves, because that would be awesome. But
grown adults doing like superhero moves, pretending to be badass evolutions of
I want to see that.
Yeah.
One that was
Please.
particularly amazing was we were pitching Maleficent's special where she transformed into the dragon, and then Derek acted out like what Maleficent would do, and I had to act out what the dragon would do. And it was awesome. They were sold on it. So
Can we get that for the next fan video, please? Just like a couple of these clips of all y'all in costumes, with just like, look, I'm a dragon. Like,
Which
I would.
Which is
we do
actually
all the
cool.
sound effects too. It's a good time.
Yeah, which is actually cool, because I know, guess you know this too, being heavily in the Disney world, doing the tours and things like that. But you know, I remember seeing some of the old footage of like the old movies where the voice actors or different actors would dress up as the characters, so the animators could really watch them and draw them into those poses. So it's awesome that, you know, the same kind of thing is essentially carrying over here, which I know in, you know, 3D movies and things like that, animated movies, they do that. But it's awesome just to kind of hear you guys are having just as much fun, just like kids, you know, creating these games, you know, and having to act out, you know, the poses and stuff. So speaking of
a super mature professional experience.
it's always fun when you're having fun doing the job. So kind of speaking of characters, I want to kind of ask you guys and go around the room. I kind of have two questions for you. So the first one is, who is your favorite Disney character kind of in real life? So not Mirrorverse. And then the second one being, who's your favorite character in the Mirrorverse currently in the game? And I'm going to start with you, Lyra, because we haven't heard too much from your side, but who is that favorite Disney character? Maybe you even want them to come to the Mirrorverse in the future, but who's that other character you really like inside the Mirrorverse today that you've got there?
So everyone knows how much I love Maleficent. If you've seen my avatar everywhere, and part of why I love her is because she was my first 5-star guardian ever. So nice. I have a special place in my heart for her. But my current favorite character actually in the game is Snow White. She has taken over that role. And my favorite Disney movie ever is Tangled. I cry every time I watch it. It is my favorite. So seeing that Rapunzel was the first character that you get in game, when I first saw that was what was happening, I was very excited because I love her too.
Nice. I know we've watched that movie. I've got a 4-year-old daughter. That was one of her first like movies where she would watch it in entirety. So we watched that probably 1,000 times. Can recite most of it.
I have to. I have to.
We're both there, buddy. I hear you. Let's go over to Mark. Same question with Disney
Yeah,
characters.
okay. I'm partial to the villains. So take your pick, but they're amazing. They're awesome. They're deep, and they're a ton of fun. In game right now, really like Maui. I'm quite enamored with Tron. I think Tron is super underrated in the game. Really like playing Tron. I don't know if we're doing films, but I've been going back through the entire 90s animation catalog, and I'm just past Hercules right now, so I'll say Hercules. So I'm doing it in order.
Nice.
Really into Hercules, and having a lot of fun with that one. Super neat visual, very different style, and great movie. If you haven't watched it in a while, check it out.
Oh yeah.
We'll go to
Most
Nick,
certainly.
and then I've got the big question after Nick answers too. I got the big one.
Oh man, this is like trying to pick my favorite child. This is hard. But I'm gonna do it. I won't back out. Favorite Disney character is Stitch. Favorite character in the Mirrorverse is Stitch. Lilo and Stitch. Yeah. Come on, little blue alien. Perfect.
Yeah.
We have a Stitch Time redemption on our stream where our viewers, they can save up their viewership coins, and they force me to speak as Stitch for 5 straight minutes, no matter what I'm doing in the middle of the stream. And I did it as a joke one day. People love Stitch, man. Stitch is the best. Stitch is the absolute best. I mean, he's close to my heart as well for entertainment reasons, but for me, I gotta say, I know for me it's Donald. I'm a Donald, but I was raised in a Donald household. I will continue the Donald worship. But I gotta ask the big question though, okay? Because you teased us, you got us interested, but we do have to ask the big question. Rift raids, okay?
Oh.
You teased
guys
us
heard about
with
that,
that.
did you?
Yeah. We caught a couple of things. A couple I don't want to say because I don't know if everybody else caught them too. But I'll say Rift raids were the obvious announcement there. So when it comes to the Rift raids, as well as anything else, if you really want to, throw that out there, I'm gonna reach as far as I can, people. Let's talk about the future of Disney Mirrorverse and where we are to where we're going.
We put it this way. The game today, a lot of us right now are all focused on making sure that it settles and stable as everybody joins on. But in terms of planning out characters and content, we're looking well into 2023 and beyond. So it takes a long time to do these characters and these stories and these events and make sure they're great. So Nick and a whole bunch of the creative team are like super deep into that, and most of them are thinking about release X.X well beyond the 1.0 that we have today. As far as riff rates go, yeah, it's a thing we know we want in the game, and I think what we found out yesterday is our players want it in the game. So what we're talking about here is a way for alliances to team up together in real time, tackle a series of ever more complex and difficult maps, taking down different parts of the maps and working together to beat the boss. At the end of the day, competing against other alliances of a sort of a similar caliber and seeing who can come out on top. It's going to be a ton of fun. We just, maybe a couple weeks ago, wrapped up our first playtest internally on it. A long way to go, but it felt pretty good. And when it starts to feel really good, we'll get you guys involved and make sure you get another peek at it.
Yeah,
we are okay with that.
We are 100% looking forward to that. I know that's been one thing in the community, right? Is we have our alliances. Everybody loves to do that in the community, but definitely we're waiting on that mode. And I know everybody was super excited. We were live streaming when this was dropped, and the chat went crazy with everybody like, "Oh my gosh, this is what we wanted." So I know we were super excited. I'm sure most of us. I know. Guess you put out a video as well. Your reaction, live reaction of it, and
Yes.
yeah, I'm looking forward to it with the community, and as it gets released, whenever it gets released, I know everybody's going to enjoy it.
Cool. Yeah, it's coming together, and yeah, we're excited about it too. Competition just internally on the team got rather heated while we were doing it, so it was
Good.
I'm a little bit guilty of that, but hey, I was one of the top in my alliance. I'm just saying.
yeah.
That
So we
is
know what
fine.
character to farm, because it's got to be Maleficent, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Clearly. It's got to be Maleficent, you got to get Stitch, and you got to get Hercules. I think that's pretty obvious right now. They've unofficially told us now that's the meta. That's the meta for the Rift raids.
Yeah.
Excuse me, as I'm slowly choking. All right. Nick, do you want to add anything on that conversation before we move on, good sir?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Hey, I told you I was going to reach as much as I can. Mark, I do know that unfortunately your time is definitely limited as well. Nick, Lyra, I'm not sure what your schedules are bringing out, and you can be open and honest with us, but I just want to say, I know Mark, thank you so much for taking some extra time out of your day to hang out with us and talk a little bit.
It's such a pleasure. Just thanks for the invite. It's great to chat with you about something that I care about so much, and I see that you guys care about it and know the game as well as we do. That's fantastic. So thanks to y'all.
Oh,
We appreciate it.
All right, cheers.
All right.
It's back to work for me too. So thanks very
Back-
much.
No.
This was so
Back
fun.
to the grind.
Thank
Back to the grind. All is good. I appreciate it. Nick,
you. Yeah,
our
super mature
director.
professional grind. Yeah.
Yes. Hey, it's okay.
Thanks
We're
very much.
super professional streamers the same way. All is good. Nick, our art director, thank you so much for coming and hopping in this conversation. We're very honored. Very, very honored that you were able to take some time out of your day as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, the art director, Nick.
Thanks so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.
Yes, thank you. All right.
And then
I
there
know
was Lyra.
I was gonna say, I know before Lyra, before you jump off or anything like that, if you're gonna hang out with us a little bit, but I do want to throw it out there for everybody in the chat. Lyra will be joining us with Pinwheel on Monday as well for kind of a part 2 of this, talking about the community and everything. So make sure you check that out as well, because it's gonna be a ton of fun. But yeah, I'm not sure, Lyra, how long you can hang out with us, so just want to check in.
I can hang out for a little bit longer if my computer will behave. I feel like I'm lagging. I don't know if I am, everyone. I'm sorry if so. But yeah, I just also wanted to stay and say thank you so much for everything that you guys do as part of our content creator program and then as part of the community. I am really excited to have you both here, and working with the two of you makes my job fun, and it makes it easy because you're so excited and I love it. So I just wanted to say thank you for that before I go.
No, I mean,
I
it's been an
appreciate it.
honor to work with you. I mean, it's been fun to be able to get to know you and see the evolution of Chaos. I think is the best professional way to word it, especially over the last couple of weeks. And I mean, Default Dan and I, we talk literally every day about anything and everything, and just seeing the excitement and the hype and the animation of the whole community, our individual communities, the Mirrorverse community, other outside communities that are now going, oh, it's finally coming to the US, and then it drops 2 days earlier, and people are like, what, we can do it? How do we find it? Is there a link? Can I get it? This people are interested, and people are very excited because, you know, I'm one of those people, like I said, restaurant background. If you smell something good, you're gonna walk into that restaurant, right? Disney does this very, very well. If you smell really good food, you're very curious. With a mobile game, you see really great artwork, you see gameplay, you see graphics, and you go, okay, what's that? And they're interested, it's downloaded, and then they get hooked. I know we did. We got hooked real quick because it's an absolutely fantastic game, and I'm very excited for Monday night's conversation on Default Dan's channel, talking about the community in depth, the evolution, again, the before, the after, and the future of what's going to happen with the community as well. Switch over here.
Yep. I'm looking forward to that too. So I'm sure we'll have a lot of fun on Monday. And thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for joining and for being interested in the game. And I'd love to see you all in our Discord, in the community, and yeah, always say hi if you see me.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the one thing, guys. If you want to stay up to date with any of the news that drops, announcements, things like that, you want to get plugged in, whether it's you're looking for an alliance or you want to chat with people, the official Discord, jump into it. Again, I know a lot of you guys are already on the guest list over in guest Discord. You're in the Dan Cave over in my Discord as well, but make sure you're in that official Discord because there's all kind of awesome stuff over there, especially the area where they have like the old events and screenshots and where people have talked about it. So if you want to see some of the inner workings of some of what happened in beta, there's a few channels out there with some info that I know I've scoured a few times looking back at some of the stuff. So
very, very true. Very, very true. Ladies and gentlemen, our community manager, Lyra. Thank you so much, Lyra, for taking some time to hang out with us today.
Yeah, thank you guys.
yes,
I'm
thank
gonna
you.
head out. You guys have a great evening, and thank you so much for your time.
We
All right.
absolutely
You
shall.
too.
Thank you so much, girl.
All right, guys. So that was the interview with the devs. It was awesome. It was awesome that these guys really were able to talk to us, give us some information. And I really enjoyed just hanging out with guests, being able to do this. So I'm looking forward to the next time we get to do this with the devs, but definitely looking forward to that Monday with Lyra and Pinwheel. So make sure you guys don't miss that. And yeah, make sure you hit that sub button, that like, leave a comment below on what question you want us to ask to Lyra and Pinwheel on Monday's stream. And until next time, guys, y'all take it easy.